Oromia's IRREECHA Festival, a revival of an ancient and indigenous African culture. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. As we're approaching the IRREECHA2023 celebration, today we have an intriguing topic to explore, the IRREECHA Festival. This grand indigenous African Thanksgiving gathering is dedicated to Waka, the Almighty, and it serves as a celebration of the culture and unity of the Oromo Nation in Oromia, Ethiopia. It's an event where millions come together at Hora Finfini in the capital Finfin, or Addis Ababa by its imposed name, and at Hora Arsadi in the town of Bishoftu, both located in the state of Oromia. But before we delve into it, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell so you won't miss any more exciting videos like this. The Oromo, Ethiopia's largest ethnic group, comprise over a third of the population and are native to the state of Oromia in Ethiopia, northern Kenya, and southwest Somalia. They practice various religions, including their indigenous monotheistic faith. The Oromo language, Afaan Oromo, is spoken by over 60 million people, with over 40 million as native speakers and more than 20 million as second language speakers. Despite historical oppression, they assert their cultural identity and rights, advocating for self-determination in Oromia and equitable representation in Ethiopia through events like IRREECHA. IRREECHA, or Irreecha in Afaan Oromo, is the Oromo equivalent of Thanksgiving and was traditionally celebrated biannually in various parts of Oromo country, Oromia. The Irreecha Bira festival occurs in September and October, while Irreecha Arfasa is celebrated in April. Although initially apolitical, the festival faced suppression and bans under Ethiopian regimes. Revived through a cultural resurgence spanning 50 years, Irreecha now plays a crucial role in preserving Oromo national identity. It's celebrated in its traditional form across Oromia and at a national level, drawing millions of Oromos and non-Oromo visitors to Hora Finfine in Finfine and Hora Arsadi in Bishoftu. The festival transcends Oromia's borders, being celebrated by tens of thousands of Oromos living worldwide. It plays a role in rekindling the Oromo sense of community, utilizing pan-Oromo socio-cultural and historical symbols, elders' blessings, environmental ethics, and artistic performances to construct a collective identity. The Irreecha Bira marks the end of the rainy season and the beginning of the harvest season. It is an Oromo custom to gather on the riverbanks and the shores of lakes and give thanks to Waka, the Almighty God, for all his bounty and pray for Naga, peace, and Arara, reconciliation among humans and with God. So, the festival has come to mark the end of the rainy season and more. It marks the end of the cultural trauma, which had affected the Oromo for about a century. It heralds and confirms that the time when the Oromo culture was seen as pagan and primitive is gone for good. It denotes victory over a history of cultural denigration. The role of Hayus, or elders in officiating Irreecha. Like in the past, the Hayu, elders, wise men, the learned, thank God and bless the nation as their ancestors did. They bless the nation. They remind their audience to uphold the Oromo ethics of Safu and Naga, respect and peace, reconcile among themselves, and pray to God to reconcile with them. Although many of the Oromo concepts, vocabulary, and semantics the Hayu use are archaic, the meanings of their blessing and sagacious counsel are comprehensible to their audience. The following is a rough translation of the most common Iba Oromo, or counsel and blessing of a Hayu who officiates an Irreecha festival. Shall evil have no place amongst you? Shall hate have no place amongst you? Shall truth find you? Is this your testimony before God? Let peace be among all. Let peace be among adults. Let peace be among the youth. Let peace be with the livestock. The Hayu reminds the participants of the connection that the occasion has with the Oromo heritage and council, and command them to confirm the authenticity of the occasion. He asked them whether the spirit of the celebration is aligned with the spirit of Oromo traditions, as reflected in the laws of the 5 major Odas: Oda Nabi in central Oromia, Oda Bisil in western Oromia, Oda Buluk in northwestern Oromia, Oda Ruba in southeastern Oromia, and Oda Bultum in eastern Oromia. The Heyu asks them whether the rules and traditions of Madawalabu are respected. The response of the celebrants is in the affirmative. This was followed by another moment of blessing which, roughly translated as, "You shall not conspire against one another, you shall not betray one another, let Waka or God be at peace with you, let the earth be at peace with you." The significance of the Irreecha ritual extends beyond the mere activities of the celebration. This ritual not only memorizes the past, but also conveys it through an array of artifacts and costumes that adorn the Irreecha parade. Coupled with the sage words of the Hayu, the rich symbols of Oromo Gadar culture, worn by the unified marchers, reflect the dignity and pride with which the Oromo Nation reaffirms its culture and identity. The collective memories of the Oromo people, enshrined in the ritual and symbols, are vocalized by young artists who use songs and dances to connect the Oromo present with their history. These performances, showcased at Irreecha festivals and other events, herald the resurgence and survival of Oromo culture after centuries of conquest and colonization. They encapsulate the sentiments fueling the Oromo resurgence from a century of cultural trauma. The recurring green motif of flourishing nature and abundant water against which these artists perform symbolically connects the Oromo with both God and nature, conveying a message of peace and harmony. The dynamics at play during Irreecha festivals and the experiences of the participants are more profound than what meets the eye or ear. It is a joyous sense of belonging and a feeling of being part of a community that transcends verbal expression. It signifies the resurrection of a nation and the reconstruction of collective memory through the festival and its showcased artifacts. This occasion gives rise to a collective reality and history, representing a state of shared consciousness, collective memory, and a vision for a common future. This goes beyond individual perceptions and understandings. It's noteworthy that the Irreecha celebration transcends religious boundaries among the Oromo, whether adherents of traditional Oromo religion, Christians, Muslims, or others. They all actively participate in the festival. The moral guidance and ideals offered by the Heyu do not conflict with the essence of any of these religions. In fact, Heyu from all 3 religious backgrounds are often involved. The festival unifies the Oromo and harmonizes their thoughts and voices, fostering a shared mental state among the entire Oromo nation. Tranquility underpinned by tension and ethically controlled anger. The tranquility observed during the annual Bishoftu Irreecha parade, where millions of men, women, and children gather, should not be misconstrued as a sign of contentment with their circumstances in Oromia or Ethiopia's political stability. Beneath the surface, this tranquility is rooted in restrained dissatisfaction. The festival's prayers and songs carry an undertone of anger toward prevailing political conditions. Over the years, Ethiopian rulers have grown fearful of Oromo gatherings and have responded with brutality. Security forces have harmed, detained, and even shot at festival goers, wrongly labeling some as terrorists for wearing traditional Gadar attire and colors linked to the Oromo liberation struggles. Nevertheless, the Oromo people persist in gathering at Lake Arsadi, celebrating their ancient culture's revival. The resurgence of Irreecha and other Oromo traditions in the past 2 decades reflects the enduring strength of Oromo culture, which has thrived despite prolonged suppression. This resilience underscores the Oromo's capacity to maintain a unique collective identity despite Ethiopian ruling elites' efforts to impose a homogeneous culture within the empire. To just cite recent brutalities, in 2014, Oromo elders gathered in mournful prayer for slain Oromo students who had courageously protested the Addis Ababa Master Plan. This plan sought to displace Oromo people from their ancestral lands, and the students' only crime was their peaceful opposition to this displacement. The spiritual leaders, known as Hayu, did not incite violence. Instead, they sought justice and victory for the Oromo people against those who had harmed them. The crowd echoed these sentiments with slogans that demanded respect for Oromo humanity, sovereignty, and territorial rights. The disapproval of the then-ruling EPRDF government by Irreecha participants reached its peak in 2016, when the entire population celebrated Irreecha at Hora Arsadi, chanting, "Down, down, Wayain, down, TPLF, IPARDF," and displaying an X with crossed hands. The regime deployed all available forces, even armored tanks in Bishoftu town, to disperse the unarmed civilians gathered for Irreecha, resulting in the tragic loss of many lives on October 2, 2016. Despite the vibrant festivities and lively performances, Oromo participants remained deeply dissatisfied with their situation even after a shift of power within the EPRDF from the dominant TPLF to the junior Opido occurred in 2018, hijacking the most popular struggle mostly known as Oromo protests. The EPRDF PP-dominated regime's ruthless actions, including mass arrests, killings, and forced evictions, have left the Oromo community profoundly discontented. Nevertheless, they maintain a tranquil demeanor during Irreecha, as it is a sacred occasion where expressing anger would be considered immoral. Oromo artifacts and symbols featured in the Irreecha festival. When human communities attach symbols to words, concepts, and artifacts that signify their collective experiences, they are sharing a vision. Such shared visions are essential for the existence of a society as they unite its members. The IRREECHA festival is one of the means through which Oromo society recognizes itself, allowing it to imagine, feel, experience, and understand its own existence. The festival, as an occasion and platform for the symbolic expression of Oromo history and culture, links the Oromo people to their common past through the tangible artifacts displayed in grand parades. The symbols featured in the IRREECHA festival are ancient and pan-Oromo, reflecting the enduring Gada cultural heritage. They embody values of justice, peace, and sovereignty that the Oromo once enjoyed in their Gada republics. The boku, carried by men, and siki, carried by women, along with other pre-colonial symbols, remind attendees of shared memories and values. The boku represents both power and justice, symbolizing the democratic ethos of the Gada system. The siki signifies the inalienable rights of Oromo women and the protection of their dignity within the Gada system. The authenticity of the Irreecha festival extends beyond the artifacts and blessings. It resides in the harmonious gathering of millions of people. The festival unfolds peacefully and without incident, showcasing the unity and serenity of the event. Symbols are crucial for nations to shape their self-identification and foster a sense of collectivity. Those who belong to a collective share a culture, and its elements gain significance through ritual practices. The symbols displayed in Irreecha parades construct a narrative that binds the Oromo people together, fostering harmonious thoughts and collective action. The Irreecha is taking the place of the ancient Muda pilgrimage. The Irreecha festival in Finfin and Bishoftu holds great significance as it represents the revival of a culture that endured denigration, disdain, and suppression for nearly a century. The gathering of men and women from across the Oromo region mirrors an essential aspect of Oromo culture, reminiscent of the ancient pilgrimage to Abia Muda. In the past, the Jila pilgrimage to the holy Muda shrines drew tens of thousands of Oromo pilgrims from various Gada federations every 8th year. This pilgrimage was both a religious and political undertaking, uniting Oromo clans and reinforcing their shared identity. They believed in a common ancestry tracing back to Orma, shared a language, practiced a common religion centered around their spiritual leader, Abba Muda, upheld a common legal system, shared an outlook on the natural world, and embraced democratic principles. This sense of unity transcended the different Gada republics in which they lived. The Muda institution played a vital role in maintaining the moral unity of the Oromo Nation until its ban by Emperor Menelik in 1900, further exacerbating the trauma caused by Oromo culture's disruption due to conquest and colonization. The revival of the IRREECHA Festival today represents a significant step in rectifying the distorted self-perception of the Oromo Nation as one born from the upheaval of conquest and colonization. The festival rekindles the Oromo people's sense of a united nation, akin to the unity fostered by the Jila pilgrimages of the past. It's worth noting that the Macha Tulama Association, MTA, played a pivotal role in steering the Oromo Nation toward their current phase of history. MTA's activities marked the beginning of the Oromo Nation's recovery from the cultural and political traumas inflicted by conquest and colonization. Even after being banned by Emperor Haile Selassie in 1968, the work of the MTA was taken up by the Oromo Liberation Front, OLF, in the mid-1970s. The Lake Hora Arsadi IRREECHA Festival was revived in the mid-1990s through the initiative of MTA members despite the restrictive surveillance of the Ethiopian regime. While the MTA faced a second ban in 2004, the irreversible work of Oromo cultural revival, initiated 50 years ago, has continued on a large scale, as evidenced by the scale and impact of the IRREECHA Festival. While the objectives of the modern-day journey to Lake Hora Arsadi may differ somewhat from those that inspired the Muda pilgrimages of the past, the effects are similar. The festival brings together people from all corners of the Oromo region, rekindling the sense of belonging to a single nation, just as the Jila pilgrimages did in the past. The national consciousness fostered by the IRREECHA Festival may even run deeper than the awareness generated by the Muda pilgrimages, as it is amplified by mass media that reaches millions of Oromos at home and abroad. The annual event makes the Oromos' imagination of their national community more vivid, immediate, and real than ever before. For the Oromo, their land is holy to all religions. Lake Hora Arsadi, situated in a district of profound cultural and religious importance to the Oromo people, holds a central role in the IRREECHA Festival. This area was once considered sacred by the Oromo, with numerous ritual sites. Oda Nabi, an ancient and sacred gathering place for Gada assemblies, lies 15 kilometers north of the lake. Additionally, a cluster of mountains, known as the Eight Mountains of God, in Oromo tradition, including Tulu Chukala, Tulu Erer, Tulu Bosa, Tulu Furi, Tulu Egdu, Tulu Foyata, Tulu Galan, and Tulu Watu Dalacha, is located within a 30-kilometer radius of the lake near Finfin. These mountains have historical significance for ceremonies highlighting their cultural and spiritual importance. Furthermore, Hora Arsadi's significance in Bishoftu grew when the IRREECHA Festival at Hora Finfina was banned 150 years ago due to the relocation of the empire's capital from north to south, displacing and causing harm to Oromo clans in Finfin. It was only in 2019, after a 150-year hiatus, that IRREECHA at Hora Finfin in Finfin was reinstated. These sacred sites symbolize the vital role that this region plays in the religious and political life of the Oromo people. Historically, Abyssinian kings and Orthodox clergy built churches in conquered territories to further their interests, including Christianizing the indigenous population and altering the identity of the land. This effort to change Oromo place names to biblical names, as it is evident from the renaming of Bishoftu as Debre Zeit and Adama as En Nazareth, aimed to deny the Oromo's indigenous identity and lay claim to the region as part of their ancient Christian empire. However, these changes were reversed in the 1970s, marking a reclamation of Oromo identity, a process further bolstered by the revival of the Irreecha Festival. The resurgence of the Irreecha Festival is intrinsically linked with the revival of the traditional Oromo religion. This revival has not occurred without opposition, particularly from the Orthodox clergy. Despite the long history of coexistence between the two religious traditions, the Orthodox clergy's opposition to the Irreecha festival persists, and their resistance is particularly pronounced when it comes to the spring Irreecha, celebrated on the shores of the Crater Lake on Mount Chukala. Historically, the Crater Lake's shores were a sacred site where the Oromo celebrated their festivals for centuries. Historically, Tulu Chukala Crater Lake's shores held deep significance for the Oromo, where they celebrated Irreecha for centuries. Coexisting with Orthodox Christians since the 12th century due to a bishop's agreement, recent years have seen a shift to irrational opposition, leading to the ban on Irreecha festival and destruction of Oromo statues like Siida Nabi. Nevertheless, Oromo culture thrives with a growing Irreecha festival, drawing diverse pilgrims to Bishoftu, reflecting the inclusive spirit of Oromia. Refutation of Oromo misrepresentations and misconceptions. The Irreecha festival serves as a powerful refutation of several misconceptions perpetuated by Ethiopianist narratives regarding the Oromo people. These misconceptions have sought to undermine the Oromo's sense of collective identity, shared history, and cultural vitality. The festival, with its rich symbolism and artifacts, challenges these misrepresentations and underscores the resilience of Oromumaya, or Oromo identity, in the face of pressures to assimilate into the broader Ethiopian culture. One prevailing misconception is the assertion that the Oromo lack a collective sense of identity based on shared historical memory. Ethiopianist writers have suggested that the Oromo do not possess common historical symbols that resonate emotionally or serve as primary markers of their national identity. However, the multitude of pan-Oromo symbols and artifacts showcased during Irreecha contradicts this viewpoint. These symbols and traditions refute the claim that the Oromo have no sense of belonging to a shared societal community with a common historic destiny. The enthusiastic revival of Irreecha highlights not only the endurance of Oromo culture, but also the reawakening of Oromuma in opposition to the imposed Ethiopian-ness known as Ethiopiawinet. Historically, the Oromo have managed to preserve their cultural heritage despite harsh colonial repression. This resilience is evident in the continued celebration of Irreecha. This preservation extends to other aspects of Oromo culture, such as the Gada system and traditional Oromo religion. It signifies a shift away from a time when the Oromo felt ashamed of their culture and towards an era where Oromo culture rightfully assumes its place as a significant contribution to global culture and a notable African heritage. Irreecha also unveils unique expressions, colors, and art forms that are distinctly Oromo, but which were previously concealed from public view. This revelation places a responsibility on Oromo artists, designers, scholars, and event organizers to polish and showcase the wealth of Oromo arts, artifacts, and narratives present in their oral literature and cultural traditions, including those displayed at Irreecha. In essence, the festival provides an opportunity for the Oromo to introduce themselves and their unique African culture to the global community. It is essential to recognize that as the Bishoftu Irreecha festival has grown to attract millions of participants from near and far, it has also become a significant source of income generation. However, Oromos are systematically excluded from most benefits of the income that Irreecha generates. This situation echoes Frantz Fanon's observation that the poverty of colonized people, national oppression, and cultural suppression are interconnected. Previous Ethiopian regimes' policies have led to the displacement of the Oromo, and the current regime's land policies continue to exacerbate their plight. In conclusion, the Irreecha Festival is a powerful celebration of Oromo culture and identity, symbolizing resilience, unity, and the revival of cultural heritage. It stands against historical oppression and cultural suppression, offering the Oromo people a platform to proudly assert their identity. Irreecha transcends boundaries of culture, religion, and politics, serving as a catalyst for cultural revival, a medium for expressing Oromo unity and national identity, and a testament to Oromo culture's enduring strength. Despite challenges, the festival fosters unity, pride, and hope among the Oromo people. Thank you for joining us in exploring the vibrant Oromo culture and their inspiring Irreecha Festival. If you found this insightful, please like, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned for more captivating topics in the future. Until then, take care and keep your curiosity alive.